Today, I drive through some colors and I get rid of all of those brackets, but somehow keep the accessories. Hi, I'm Gorm. In this episode, we install a serpentine system because in the last episode, we installed a new fuel system. That fuel system let me turn a lot of RPM really fast, and I started slinging these. Not once, twice. It was fun. I'll show you what happened. A couple alternatives we could try would be like some deep groove pulleys, but it's gonna create some problems. One of the biggest problems it's gonna create, honestly, is placement, because everything is way outside the block and we're running out of room because Big Block 540. We need to be able to package an alternator, a power steering, and an air conditioning pump in here. And we've got, options with brackets and the old school stuff, but there are better alternatives now. And I'll show you one of the coolest ones that we've come across. Like many of you, I have a dealer. It just happens to say summitracing.com. And at that dealer, I'm absolutely unaffiliated. I hand them money, they hand me things I'm addicted to, and we have a great time. And now we have to build something cool. This is a really nice kit and I'm very excited. Let me show you what we got. We got new upper and lower rad hoses in case we need to trim or make them fit onto this guy. This is the centerpiece. We replaced that water pump that's on the big block with this manifold that all the accessories bolt on. So this is really compact, and when this is all up on the motor, there's gonna be lots of room in that engine bay for more activities. It comes with the LS LT style cartridge water pump instead of the whole assembly being the water pump. Comes with this really nice Sandin air compressor for 134A, so the modern stuff. Not the most modern, but obtainable. We got hardware and brackets, crank pulleys. It's gonna have a tensioner, so I quit slinging belts. The air conditioner will live here, the alternator will live here, and the power steering will live there. Really cool. Type 2 power steering pump. This looks like one of the pulley for it. We've got some more adapters and hardware. All the hardware gaskets, really nice directions. The inventory is really nice. Also, because we're hot rodders and that's what we do, it came with a really nice 150 amp alternator that Holley did the casting on, which is really cool. But we're a hot rodder and we've got fuel pumps, cooling fans, and electronics. So we stepped up to a slightly bigger boy. 245 amp. Why not? Because, well, we have things that take power and cooling systems, air conditioning, and all that stuff. I don't want it to ever run out of power. And I like it to recharge the battery after it cranks over a 8.8 liter 10-to-1 540. So yes, this, very exciting. I am impressed with this, but we need more. So we're gonna hot rod that up, and I'm a really big fan of PowerMaster products, so I'm gonna take the opportunity now. We might need a slightly longer belt, but that's solvable. Anyway, I think we gotta take the front of the truck apart now. I'm just up here kind of looking at it, making a game plan. Just think about all that's gonna fit, literally. Below that, nothing's gonna be out here. The power steering's gonna be gone. Oh, we got a lot of work to do though. Right now, the truck is not leaking any fluids except for like one drop of oil every now and again. And I'm pretty sure that's from where we had too much positive crankcase pressure before we put the catch can on a while back. So I'm gonna be sad that we're gonna get some stuff on the floor, but that's not the end of the world. There are way worse problems. All right, I need to get this thing in the air and start draining the coolant. So that's what I'm gonna work on. And then we'll start unbolting the old accessories and Then little by little, we are gonna follow the directions on this one. This isn't a how-to, this is gonna be a how I done it. Cause I gotta read those instructions cause I ain't a pro, never done this before. And this stuff is all going under the hood. It's gonna be a good time. Let's get to work. Sun's going down. We need to go cook dinner. We got a lot to get out of the way. We'll get that out of the way tomorrow and keep chipping away at this. It's a new day. It's another beautiful fall day. I've got a couple hours. I'm gonna see if I can get some more of this stuff out of the way. So I'm gonna get busy. Big progress. Sun's not even down yet. Now I'm working on, I gotta get this guy out of here. We'll probably just grab the impact and see if it'll fit right here. Let's grab this one, right out. And because we're gonna be bad today, we're gonna put a shiny socket on an impact. Make sure we're going the right direction without breaking stuff. Come on. Yeah. I can work with that. I can work with that. Sweet. This, good ugga dugga. The nice ARP crank bolt is gonna get replaced with Holley's bolt. Let's make sure. Let's see, we might be able to reuse this one because this is a really nice bolt. Let's find out. Can y'all see? I can't tell what y'all can see or can't see. All right, y'all hang out there. Let's see if this guy fits. Well, the good news is yes, it fits inside that ID. Now, next question, does it fit? So for those of you that want to know, here's the bolt that comes in the kit. Here's the regular crank bolt. See how much longer that guy is? That's so it can reach all the way up in there. So this guy we'll put in our parts bin, save it for later. And this guy, okay. I don't think this is gonna be bad at all. We gotta get the other 3 crank bolts in here, but we can stick this in here for now. Kind of get an idea of what we're getting into. Well, clears that? Yeah, that's gonna be snug around that. If that's the first piece of the puzzle, we'll find out our torque specs and we'll actually get this put on. Because everything else is up here. This is the lowest point. It's gonna give us a lot of room here and here. Power steering will be here. AC over here, alternator will all be here. But none of it's gonna stick out past the edge of the heads. This is gonna be nice. Our time has run out. We made really good progress today. Front of the block cleaned off. Got this guy kind of hanging on there. Still need to get that out of the way. Not a big deal. I did notice something, but it's not the end of the world. Remember that big old 245 amp alternator I got? Yeah, it's too big. It'll go back to Summit. We'll just run what we got here and we should be good to go with this 150. Our power requirements don't exceed that. It should still charge the battery and do everything we wanted it to do. I just wanted more. So we'll get back on the Summit website and we'll get another big one and we'll do that little project later. But for now, we'll install that. It's not gonna stop us. I'm pretty excited. Big day. Good progress. More tomorrow. It's a new day. We got a little bit of time, so let's get something done. Let's get the crank on, torque down. And by the way, these directions, they're really good, but something to pay attention to. They jump between inch-pounds and foot-pounds for different things, SAE and metric. So pay attention to what bolts go where, because if you're moving fast, it'll get you. All right, let's get the crank on, get that torqued, and then we'll come back, get the water pump in this, get this dressed, and fill out the fittings, and then let's take a look at it before we put it on the block. Let's go. Apparently I forgot to press record, but those have been torqued. Now we'll move on to dressing now it's a water pump manifold, I guess. Over there, let's go. All right, I'm gonna get a little OCD here, probably a little bit overkill. Please don't judge. But we're gonna install the water pump cartridge in here. It indexes off a pin here to there. Got a nice GM gasket we'll put on there. But because this is a water pump and I'm a chicken, we're gonna put a little bit of RTV on it. Good old Permatex power. Not a lot, but just, you know, enough to keep it. We want the water in the block. This is a nice machine surface. This probably would have sealed just fine, but my luck is never that good. And because we're gonna put metal into two different types of metal, steel into aluminum, we're gonna get some anti-seize on this hardware too, just to make sure. It's just a skim coat, nothing too serious, but I really don't want this to leak. This kit really did come with all the stuff to put this on, which is really exciting. All right, without bending this, it indexes like this. Oh, this is kind of a steel gasket. I'm gonna do the same thing. This is just humor me. Just humor me. It's a lot easier to do this now than it is when I put it on the block and then have to take it all back apart. Just a tiny little bit. Just on the insides. Cool. See, doesn't take much. Because this is the cartridge. Line it up. With the holes. Slide her home. Sweet. Now this did jump to inch-pounds, 85 inch-pounds. Do not do 85 foot-pounds of torque, you'll just strip the aluminum out. I am gonna go ahead. Anti-seize. Steel, aluminum, galling, don't want. And if I ever want to be able to get this out in the future, yeah, I think a little of this won't be a bad thing. I think what I'm gonna do here is we're just gonna, since there's no way not to make a mess with this, we'll just goop them all up. Just a kiss, but enough that if I ever want to take this out, we're not just ripping the threads right out of this thing. It is pretty cool that it has that LT, LS style cartridge. Like, you know, modern in an old truck. I like it. All right. And on the top of the water pump, it has little windows where all the bolts go. Let me see if I can get a little bit on here. Take this one, pull it in, and start them. These are machined quite well. Holley did a good job with this kit and putting it together and the instructions. Like, I actually read this on like the homework I did in high school. And it makes pretty good sense. Now we'll go in a star pattern, tighten these up. I'm gonna go grab a little extension real quick and zit, zit, zit. Yeah, some of these threads are a smidge rough, but I can feel the anti-seize smoothing them out. Cool. And now, that same star pattern with an inch pounce. Getting scared because it's aluminum. There we go. It doesn't say to go in any amount of steps, so. There's that one. So we did this in one leap. Carefully. Go. And the last two. Gentle. There we go. No interference. All those are torqued. And just for my OCD. Technically, the water pump is now installed. Sweet. All right. On the opposite end. So it is pretty cool that it gives you the options for like where you can associate your fittings. I'm gonna run this one here because I've already kind of mocked it up. And then I've got another plug that'll go there. And then our heater hose, the other one will go over there. So let me grab some high temp thread sealant. All right, high temp thread sealer. And now that I got the tools to actually install all this, it should be a little better. Well, I did not hesitate there. I think I got enough thread sealer on my finger here to literally do all three of these fittings. These are MPT, so they seal on the threads, so it's not a bad idea to do this. And win. Got one more. I'm just prepared to make a mess today. Don't be shy with it. Use it. I don't really know what I'm doing, but I'm having a good time. And I appreciate y'all coming along for the ride for it. All right, let's put this one. We might tighten these up a little bit more when they're actually on the truck and the engine can hold this in place, because I can see a flaw with my handy dandy makeshift stand here called, it's caving in. It's of the highest cardboard quality from the Summit box, because my workbench is full of my other projects. Sweet. Yeah, we'll give all these a little bit more love when they're on the truck. Just to make sure that they are snug. Because this stuff's got to dry 24 hours anyway. Sweet. All right. Flip it back over. All right, now I guess the next part is putting it on the block, and then we can get it dressed. Hey guys, let me pause the action right here. If you're interested in this and you're enjoying this video, go ahead, hit that like and subscribe button. It helps me out, it grows the channel, and eventually we'll be able to really do some good with this channel. I've got some big plans and I need your help to get there. I appreciate you. Back to the action. After doing a little reading of the instructions, what I've decided to do is actually use their O-rings. It does come with literally 2 sets of gaskets. So if your block's worn out right here or scuffed up or whatever, it says to use the gaskets. With a special note here to keep this manifold parallel, that you use 1 set of gaskets up here and then you cut the ears off of them down here, so that way it stays parallel on the block. That's pretty cool. But since I got some white lithium grease and these, I'm gonna pack those in there and we're gonna just O-ring it. This is gambling. This is as close to gambling as I get. Will it leak water? We'll find out. Let's get these lubed up in there and then we can mount. There. Let's try an O-ring seal on a big block Chevy. This is unheard of. But if that keeps that parallel, we'll do it anyway. I need something to spray this into to not utterly make a giant mess. Conveniently, there's a GM bag that a water pump gasket came in. Don't be shy. All right, now these are nice and slippy. Push it down. Very gentle, very gentle. Work it in. Try not to scuff it. Yeah, you have to lube that. If you don't lube that, that's a tight seal. It will most certainly gack that gasket. Very gentle. One more. All right, I'm happy with that. This is ready to bolt on the motor, so I'll figure out what bolts that is and round them up, and then let's put the first Besides the pulley was the first big part, but everything bolts to this. There's no brackets, so this should go pretty quick. 30, the biggest. I could have got a smaller one. I'm gonna do this in an X pattern like I did the other thing. Look at this. And when I say like mid-mount, like imagine the alternator here, air conditioning there, and power steering there. Whoops, sorry about that. And look how much room, even with the radiator there. Ooh. Got a little bit of time today, so let's jump back in here. We were on the power steering. Went and put the little high pressure line on the back of this thing. It takes 3 bolts to put that on there. And then we've got to press this pulley on in the correct way. Got our tool here if you want to know what this tool is, if you ever need this. So, probably gonna be that right there. Yeah. So, let's get that on there. Almost goofed up good. See this bolt? Goes to the alternator. It's supposed to already be on before you do this step in the instructions, and that is correct. I wasn't following the instructions because I'm waiting on a different alternator that's the correct one to go in there. And when it gets here, we'll put that on. Next step, it's really air conditioning. That goes here. I do need to compliment Holley here. Their instructions, if you read them, are really helpful. They're really detailed. And even putting this in, it says how to swing it in, put the first one in. Everything's already slotted and grooved, so it should just be done. All right, slide that one in. Goes right where it's supposed to. Let's see how the slot works for this guy. Without that. Ooh, it's snug. It's real snug. Let's see. I don't know. I got a valve cover head in the way. How we gonna do this? No, it really does have to go that way. Let's see. How far out does it need to be? Very loose like, huh? That didn't quite just fall in. Let's see if it's just user error. Yeah, that's pretty much. Dang. Me and the old air chisel might have to do some work on that one. Or not the air chisel. Something with a rotary bit. I see how this could work. It's supposed to be you just drop that in. But I don't want to take a lot out of that because you need this to hold this. Let's see if I can finagle it. Because these all go in from the back side. Let me see if I can get myself a little bit more room here in any way possible. Interesting. So it threads on this end, but that bolt, do I have to take the valve cover off to have the clearance? If you're just tuning in and you're wondering why I'm taking off a valve cover for installing an air conditioning, you're not the only one. But I guess it's so tight in tolerance land, and there we go. Yeah, I used the correct 12-point socket this time. Now I gotta go through and make sure to remember to close all these and not drop them on the ground. One more. Oh, I'm about to fall. Did I mention I made that one tight? Leverage. There you go. What was I thinking making that one so tight? Oh yeah, don't leak. I think that was exactly it. Alright, I'm gonna do something I would not recommend. I hope I never have to take this. I hope I never have to take that off. Wow. So this thing is tight, and depending on what valve cover you have, you can have some problems there. Interesting. Maybe it would have been better to put this all together on the workbench and then come up here and put the 6 bolts that hold it to the thing. Note to self, if ever have to repair anything, take the 6 bolts out, take the whole manifold off and work on it on the workbench. The unscripted truth. The tensioner, and it goes to 18 foot-pounds. Why am I putting anti-seize on this, you ask? Aluminum and steel and this thing called galling. And if I ever want to have a chance to get it back out for like replacement, repair, you know, those little details, I should do this. Dinner time. See you in a little while. It's a new morning and I'm gonna quit playing with alternators. Twice I've ordered an alternator to try to avoid using this one. It is made in the USA by Holley with like their casting, rated for 150 amps, and it should do the job. I'm worried about the grounding for it because it doesn't have like a ground lug or anything on it, and it's supposed to ground through the body, through that manifold and into the block. And like, here's our positive terminal. I wanted to use a Power Master unit, but apparently I can't figure out the part that fits because that's the second one. And the distance between here and here, on both the two I tried, were just a smidge too big. And on with the alternator, hopefully for a long time. 2 strikeouts later with the wrong one. Let's just use theirs for a while. A little bit of anti-seize. We'll torque these down to 36 foot-pounds. Switch accoutrements. 36, 36. Let's do this one first. There. Not the biggest fan of their fasteners. We'll talk about those more later. do want to show you this. See that top bolt right there? Yeah. That one down there also for the bottom. See this power steering? Yeah, it's all got to live in there really tight. So hopefully we don't have to take this off a bunch. Let's get this guy bolted on. And then we'll figure out plumbing to make it get to the steering box. Fun things. Get a belt on. Anywho, let's get this on. All right, the hint says start at the bottom and then work your way around. So let's try that this time. I know I didn't put that on. Oh yeah, that is, this is tight in here. Hopefully all this fits right. All right, just to show you, like, this is packaged in there very tight. Like, see that alternator bolt? Ooh, tight tolerance. But it looks good. All right, 18 foot-pounds for the power steering. And there's 18. All right, next up, we put the belt on. Making good progress. Got our alternator hooked up, got our power steering lines in, new set of Borgesons. These are nice. These went in really well. There's all our adapters to go from AN6 to the 5/8/18 inverted flare. I like that. Got our coolant bypass in, got our heater hose that I need to trim and figure out how I want that to be, but that ain't gonna be a big thing. The big chore will probably be the lower rad hose, but guess we gotta put the rad in to find out. So let's do that. Uh-oh. Uh-oh. Oh no. How we gonna do it? How's it gonna work? It's a new day. Found a solution to the fans. We're gonna get a skinny fan to go there, and we'll put the one that was there right back there. What I'm working on is working this lower rad hose on, and then I'll put my transmission coolant lines back in and put the covers back on here. So I'll bring y'all back when that's done, because yeah, there's really no view except my elbow for this. All right, got all the plumbing done. Got power steering fluid in, got coolant in. Let's go see if this belt comes off. We can't run it too long because I don't have the two fans, but I do want to turn it over and see what the belt does. So, moment of truth. Let's do this before it gets too late. Let's see if it stays on. Test one, let's go. Should have power, yep, lights come on in the cab. Pretty sure this is gonna work. Pretty excited. Hopefully it doesn't dump coolant all over the ground. All right, it didn't immediately throw it. That's a good sign. You can hear the fluid pumping around. Yeah, it went down. I don't know if you can tell. Okay, all right. Let's turn it back on. Good, good, good signs. Just a little more. I'll take it. It's not complete yet, but it's working. It's working good. Now that the Deutsch connector fight's over, we can go and stick this guy in the engine bay. Let's get up there and do that. Engage illumination. All right, there we go. Look at see how tight it is in here? Yeah, the 1800 would not get past that guy. All right, let's test these. But just in case. Successful test. I think now we're ready to heat cycle this thing. I'm pretty excited about that. You can definitely tell the 1800 moves a lot more than the 1000 CFM, but it doesn't matter. It fits and it looks good. So let's roll with it. All right, I guess we need to get that out of the way. Ready? 1, 2, 3. Not enough. Let's go see it run. Barely wanting to idle. Like barely idling. Yeah, I don't think that's idling super high. I don't see any voltages coming. Better now. I want to know why the alternator is not alternating. Smoke alarm's going off. Again. Story of my life. These things have been going off in my garage since I was a teenager. It's nice to know it works. I believe I found the culprit. In the instructions, it says to add another wire. Alternator problem is about to wait. I see orange coolant coming out. We're gonna put this back in the garage. We're not ready to be out here. Now that we're back in the garage, let's go find where that coolant is and then we'll figure out the alternator. Where is there be coolant? Bottom of the big hose. Good progress today. I would call it a successful test. Even though we had some coolant leak, we're dry now. I can reach up in here, touch things. Welcome back again. I did take it apart again because, well, this guy, although it needs a 12-volt exciter wire to kick it off and run, I didn't want to do that. And what I really was kind of worried about is That makes a lot of torque, and it turns to 6,000 RPM. And I was really kind of afraid of slagging the thing because it didn't have an external ground strap. Yeah, it's supposed to ground through that manifold into the block, and that be its ground path. But suspicion. Anyway, to alleviate that, we're gonna get this guy and we're gonna have a bigger pulley on it so it'll be underdriven, got a longer belt. I reached out to Level 7 and Jesse responded, which was really cool, answered my questions. Ordered this from him, came in the mail. So let's get it on, let's get it going because it's a really nice fall day. Feeling pretty confident about this. All right, let's do a check. Make sure our fluids are all good. That one's still good from the other day. I did tighten up the lower rad hose on the water manifold. So I think we're ready to fire this thing up, put it outside and cycle it, let it get hot, make sure the fans come on if that works. My wife has requested a drive, so you guys won't get the first drive this time, but we'll take you for a ride tomorrow. So let's get it outside. 2 pumps, let's do this. Bet there's voltages this time when it cranks over. I'm excited about this. That's good. I'm gonna do the most risky thing you can do as a hot rodder. Take your spouse or significant other for a ride in the hot rod after changing a bunch of parts. Wish me luck. Made it back with the wife, no breakdown. Put gas in it. I'll tell you more about it tomorrow when we go for more of a ride. See you then. This is the part of the video I don't want to make. And full disclosure, these thoughts and opinions that are being expressed in this entire video are my own. I purchased this. This is from my experience. This is a good kit, hands down. Engineering, top notch. They went through, they did the work, they documented every part number, every torque spec, lots of detail, lots of information, top notch. Where this kit is let down, and this is what would make it a 8.5 out of 10, is the sourcing of the parts. And I'm gonna let it speak for itself. Look at this. There was so many of these little white boxes in this kit. And to give you an idea, this is the crank bolt. You know, I don't know if this is a grade 8, grade 5. It's just a bolt that's been coated in black. And it's not even been coated super well. There's blemishes on the end, and it's thin around the cap. That one's not even been installed. I ended up buying a second one because I didn't know the kid had it, because I didn't read that far when I was putting it all together. This is an ARP bolt from Ventura, California. Look at the meat. I can put a socket on that, crank the motor over. Do you think in a few years this one's gonna do that? Or is it gonna snap off? I don't know. I'm disappointed with the sourcing because once upon a time, look at this. This is a main body for a 1050 Dominator 3 circuit. All the edges, all the pieces, cleaned, deburred. Somebody hand deburred the edges of this because they cared so it wouldn't be razor sharp if you took your hand down the side of it. This is a really nice piece. And the casting is fantastic. That's aluminum. There is hope because their Alternator, they cast it. They say it's made in the USA. Do I believe that? I have my suspicions because made in the USA, for that sticker to qualify, it can be assembled in the USA and still qualify. I don't know for sure. And I'm not gonna say they do or don't, but I do have my suspicions based on this. It's the sourcing, guys. The little details count. Once upon a time, look at this. I want to show you the difference. This is now. Let me show you the past. This is for the carburetor that's on the truck. What do you notice about this box? Besides it saying Holley Performance and not just Holley. Do I like the kit? Yes. Is there one other thing I need to show you that's really critical for you guys that actually care about big block, small block stuff? This is a big one. And nowhere in the documentation or in the reviews I've seen online have they said this. So this is important. If you're doing the timing on the motor and you're looking in here, what timing marks do you see now? A little detail there. You can see the crank from the top side down the window here, but do you think you're going to accurately be able to nail your timing? It's a pretty big drawback. Hope your timing's good. Well, I'm going to stop complaining because those really are the bad ones. It's the sourced parts. I mean, I am definitely going to go on the interwebs and probably replace these two bolts right here with bolts that I know will not strip out. We'll probably go find something that's stainless and matches the spec. Will it match? I don't care. I won't worry about this being stripped out and that one being stripped out. But other than that, yeah. Anyway, let's go back for a drive and let's get back to a positive space. I definitely got my Pilates driving shoes on because we're going driving today. We're gonna go test this mid-mount kit, spin it up real good, get some lunch, and get back to the house in a certain amount of time without breaking down. That is the key to this entire adventure. I'm thoroughly enjoying this. See how the AFR did when we get home. I think the secondary might need a little touching. But now that we got fuel and we're not afraid of spinning the belt, we can spin a little more RPM, we can address that. Exciting. I know of a great carb tuning aid. It's sitting on the workbench. And I was hoping it would already be on the truck by now. But life. Is this thing practical? No. Is it smart? Absolutely not. This thing is a caveman fire compared to modern cars. And I'm gonna be honest with you, I kind of like my caveman fire. It's fun to drive. It does these 2 lanes really well. I feel like this is a giant iterative improvement. All the accessories now fit, they look fantastic. We have an alternator, we have an air conditioning compressor for later, and all of it fits between the radiator and the motor. I'm so excited about this. This is a big leap forward, and with the minor little itty bitty tweaks of changing a fan, changing the alternator out to this underdriven unit, I have no complaints. No complaint whatsoever. I'm really excited this is done. This is a great addition to the truck. The engineering is top notch. Some of the sourced parts could be better. And now, if we rev it up, the belt stays on, it doesn't cause problems. And I'm really happy about that. Let me show you what this thing looks like when it's running. Let's go get some lunch. And unlike before, we still got a belt on it. That's a win. Now let's get out of here before we get in trouble. Look how beautiful this is. Great fall day. It's nice not to throw the belts and just go for a drive. Cooling's doing good. Alternator's alternating. Power steering has felt great. We don't get to try the air conditioning yet. I'm looking forward to that one day. Guys, thank y'all for watching. I'm enjoying upgrading this thing. My inner kid's pretty happy right now. I started working on this thing when I was 15, and it's got a lot of work's been done to it. Got a long way to go too. And I appreciate you coming along for this part of the journey. I'm Gorm with Gormworks. Like, share, subscribe, help me grow. I'd like to do some good with this.